We're about to start.
What time is it?
Hi everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Today we've got Tara Jenkins. Oh, are we? Technical difficulties.
Straight away.
Bear with us. Our camera's just died.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, we've got a separate camera.
Okay.
Can we go now?
Yes.
Okay, hi
There's
everyone.
always something, always, no matter how hard
It's
you
live.
try.
It's live.
It's crazy.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We've got Tara Jenkins, CrossFitter, joining us today for our podcast. So thank you very much. And obviously we've got both Sandro and I. Sandro's here as well because he was a CrossFitter until he got injured. So we've got lots of questions. We're really grateful that Tara said that she would join us. So, and we're also cheering on for the fact that we're all from Melbourne. So this is a great patriotic way to start as well.
Yeah.
So thanks, Tara, for joining us this morning.
Yes, thank you very much.
So if we could just start with your achievements, I'm really proud that you're from Melbourne and you've been able to make it to CrossFit Games and you've also made it to regionals 3 times. So can you just give us an insight into being able to maintain that just in your daily life? What do you do to be able to stay at this level?
At that level? Well, my training is always a priority for me, just because it's so long. It's anywhere from 2 to 3 hours a day, sometimes more if you're leading up to a comp. So I have to work out my day around that.
Yes.
So luckily for me, I work for myself. So I do personal training and I do some coaching at the gym that I train at. So to be at that level, you need to make training a priority and recovery and eating.
Yes.
So for me, it's training first. I set that for the day. Always have food in the cupboard to eat. Like you don't want to have to rely on going out to buy food when you don't know what's in it, or fast food. And for me, like sleep, I don't get much sleep. If I got more sleep, that would be much better. But I'd say number 1, training, 2, food, 3, recovery. And don't overwork outside of training.
Right. So when you say don't overwork, you mean as in like your paid job sort of thing? Don't overwork that way outside of training?
Just gotta. You can't fit, like if there's lots of people that want to train. You've got to look at your recovery. So you don't want to overdo your workload if you want to be a good athlete.
Yeah. So when you say you train 2 to 3 hours, what's within the 2 to 3 hours that you're doing?
We start off with stretching and then like an active warm-up to get the muscles going. We usually start with Olympic lifting, so the really heavy stuff. Then we'll go into a few WODs, or it could be lifting and then like gymnastic skills before you're too tired. Then WODs. Then at the end, it's usually bodybuilding or just like a long row or a run or something like that. But we do always the heavy stuff first. Then the tricky sort of things like practicing skills like handstand walking, because if you're pre-fatigued, that sort of stuff doesn't work. Metcon sort of stuff, and then bodybuilding. That's sort of the structure of it, and then a cool down. Yeah.
So when you say you're obviously not always training on your own. You're training with other athletes.
Try not to.
Oh, really?
Like it's good sometimes, but it's just such a long time to stay motivated when you're on your own.
Yeah. Okay, so who do you usually train with?
It mixes. Like sometimes a girl that I live with, sometimes people that I've been to regionals with that live in Melbourne. That's really good. Sometimes I'll just drag a normal main group member from the gym into my session.
Oh, cool. That's good.
And smash them.
Yeah.
I want to come and train with
just
you.
Squeeze them.
Yeah. Welcome to.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love that. I've always, usually if I admire someone, I just want to train with them.
Yeah. And then if there's something you can't do, you just scale it down or scale it back or change it. So there's always a way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you create your own program?
No. I could, but I'm better off when I've got something written there that someone else does and I'll just do it. I'm good at taking orders sort of thing. So no, I don't write my own. Only when I'm injured.
Yeah,
if I'm injured.
So you have a coach, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And they don't
that's
always...
important just because it keeps you accountable.
Yeah.
Even if they're not able to look at you all the time, just knowing that someone's writing a program and they expect you to finish it, you're more inclined to do it.
Yeah, for sure. So who's your coach? Like, are they based in Melbourne, or did you have to seek one out?
So my coach from day one has been Kyle, who owns CrossFit Melbourne. So he owns the gym and he's the main head coach there, and that's all I've ever had.
Yeah, right. Well, it's obviously worked because you've been able to make it to CrossFit Games, which is really exciting. Can you talk about like that journey, like how you got to regionals and then eventually made it to CrossFit Games? Like that would have been such an amazing feeling for you. Yeah,
it was, and it's definitely that sort of inspired me to keep going because it was unexpected for us to go. That was when it was teams of 6, and we were just like 6 really close friends, and we all trained at the same club because back then you had to be from the same gym.
Right.
So we just had a really good vibe within our team, and we meshed really well, and just worked really well together, which is hard for 6 people to do. But I think because we're friends outside of the gym as well, that really helped. But I remember a year before, so we watched Kyle compete at his last regionals. He went out with an injury from that, so he hasn't competed at that level since. But we were all inspired by watching him, and we had enough people within our comp group to probably create 2 teams. Like we had a solid crew. And he posted in our little Facebook group after his regionals, I heard that you guys want to make a team for next year. Who's in? And there was probably 10 of us that put our hand up. And he just said, basically, if you want to do this, you need to work hard from now. Like it's a year away. So we sort of went in with the mindset that we had to work hard. We put everything else sort of like partying and all that sort of stuff, we cut it out. Every now and then, like if it was a special occasion, we'd go out and have a drink. But we made it a real priority to build ourselves up from basically nothing. Like we did comp group training, but it wasn't so intense. Like it was more intense than main group training, but now when I think back to what I used to do, it was like a walk in the park. But we started building on our training, and we started working together as a team probably 6 months after that. And then I remember when the Open came around, like we had our team that we wanted to go ahead, like the stronger 6. And a day before the Open, my appendix burst.
What?
And I was shattered. Like of all things, like I'm a healthy person. I don't really have things go wrong. But my appendix burst, and I was out for the first, I think it was 2 weeks. I couldn't do anything. I just had to get my score in. I did bare minimum, like it was pick up the weights and do like 10 reps or something. So I did whatever I had to do to put a score in.
Oh, so you still competed?
I technically did because I just did bare minimum.
Right.
RX,
Wow.
whatever the RX was.
Yep.
So that if our team qualified, I could be on the team. Otherwise, I couldn't.
Yeah.
So then I think it was week 3 or 4, I actually started doing the workouts, and I just did intense rehab after the appendix burst and like bodybuilding sort of stuff where I couldn't use my core. And then anyway, everyone was pretty devastated because they were relying on my score for the team. But we managed to just scrape in for regionals. I think back then it was the top 30 teams or something.
Okay.
No, it was the top 20. It was the top 20, and we came 23rd or 22nd. And then a few of the teams before us pulled out because they had members go individual. So it means that we ended up qualifying, I think, 20th. Like we just scraped in.
Wow, good work.
So we went there, and we were just so happy to be there, to be a part of it. And I remember just walking around the arena and going to like the athlete rooms where you get massages and stuff, and just like, whoa, this is so cool. And you got like free protein bars. So we were lapping it up and just having heaps of fun. And then day one, I think we're sitting at, because it was the top 5 that went. Day one, we're sitting at like 4th or something. And we're like, what the hell? What do we do? Oh my God. And then day 2, we were 5th. And then I don't know, it was something like that. Like we had a chance and we're just like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And then we got super, super nervous and sort of bombed out on day 3, but managed to come 5th.
Amazing.
So it was the top 5 that went to the games. And we were just like, it was the best feeling because we didn't expect anything. We went there just to have fun. Like me and another guy from the team had a bet. We said, if we place in the top 15, let's buy each other Nobles, the shoes.
Oh.
We wanted to try them. So there was just zero expectations, which I think helped. Because sometimes when you have that, you put so much pressure on yourself that you just bomb out.
Yes.
Yeah. Whereas the following year, we did have that pressure on ourselves because we went to the games and we bombed out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great story of how you just enjoyed it and made it.
Yeah, and especially with your appendix, I like telling it because it's it was a journey that we didn't expect.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
So with your appendix, was that painful? Like training, even doing RX?
My pain threshold is really high. I've realized after that. But I had pain in my sleep. Like I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I'd be sweating and just have sort of stabby pains. And I just thought, I didn't think much of it. But then it happened for probably like 3 weeks. Not every night, just off and on. But then when it did burst, I knew something was wrong. That's why I went to the doctors. But luckily for me, because my torso is so compact, all my organs are squished together. Yeah. So the liquid that eventually kills you didn't go anywhere because they had nowhere to go. So they're like, you're really lucky.
So you're saying that it could have burst way earlier than that. Is that what they were implying?
No, they didn't imply that. They just said that if on a normal person it had burst,
it would have been sooner.
Yeah, I could have died.
Wow. That's intense. So that's a lesson that we all should be doing our core exercises if we still have our appendicitis.
I did plenty of core work and
Wow. That's a really good story.
Yeah,
it shows that we have nothing to complain about if we're in pain. We just got to go to comps instead. So I read that you started out as just a typical girl, full partier. Yes, and then now you've obviously changed to this, elite athlete level. Yeah. Can you tell us about that journey? Because it shows that it's possible for anyone, and what mindset you need to have to be able to reach that.
Well, I think for everyone, it's probably different to get there. But for me, it was pretty I had a bit of a traumatic experience. So I partied, and I love that lifestyle. I partied pretty early. Got a fake ID when I was under. So I partied from about 16 to I'd say 25, and I got married when I was 25. So I had a partner from when I was 20, got married when I was 25, went through a horrible breakup, and I used training because at the time I just started personal training, and training was the only thing that sort of got me through the day. I was like a maniac. I would just lift weights and I'd train for 3 hours doing bodybuilding. And it was the one thing that just made me feel a bit more in control because everything else was spinning out. So I ended up getting pretty athletic during that period. It was probably for about, I reckon, a good year and a half. So I was doing bodybuilding. I was still going out on the weekends partying because that's how you socialize. But that's where I really started to love training. And then when I was 28, it was 28 or 29, that's when I wanted to go to Moorabbin for a really long time, but I was too scared. Like most people, when they want to start CrossFit, it's got a bad rep. A guy I was dating at the time said, don't go, it's really bad for your back. And so I didn't go. And then, one day just decided to go into a lunchtime class, and that was just pushed me a little bit harder than bodybuilding because of, I think, the Metcon side of thing, the cardio and the weightlifting, whereas bodybuilding was good, but it was very controlled. Yeah. Then I got into CrossFit, and I loved that feeling of if you want to, you could redline every day. And that redline period is what made me feel really good afterwards. And I was feeding off those endorphins you get when you finish.
Yeah.
And it turned into like a therapy. And I think it does for a lot of people too.
Yeah, definitely, that endorphin.
But that was how I transitioned from partying to getting really fit. But then it wasn't until that message that Kyle wrote in the group where if you want to be at this level, you need to cut out the drinking. And I didn't have a problem with drinking. It was just partying on the weekends with friends. But that was when I cut it out and I realized like how good I felt all the time. And I just dropped weight. Like that's when I started to see abs and I was sleeping better. My lifts were going up. Cardio was much easier. And I just felt energetic. So, yeah, that's where the transition really changed, is when I cut all that out.
Yeah.
And then had a goal.
Yeah, for
the
sure.
goal was regional. Yeah.
Yeah, it does help to work towards something.
Yeah.
Do you miss the partying, or did you miss the partying?
I go through phases. Like sometimes when trainings, because we usually go through cycles of 6 weeks, you do the same thing for 6 weeks and you just add a little bit of weight each week or a few more reps in your cardio. And by the 5th or 6th week, you're so sick of it and bored, and I'm just like, I just want to party. I just need to let loose.
So you still have that urge.
Yeah, you just need to let loose once in a while, and I still do. But then if I do, I go really hard, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm done for like 3 months. So I think that's okay. Like you need to let off some steam every now and again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't enjoy it like I used to. Like I don't like the feeling of, if I'm getting really drunk, I don't like that. Whereas back in the day, that's what you were trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what were the first emotions? Yeah. First of all, sorry for my English, because sometimes I will make mistakes. So just don't look at them. Your first emotions when you start CrossFit, like what did you feel?
I felt powerful. That was one of the main things, and that's what I still enjoy. Is it makes me feel strong, which means you can sort of handle yourself in most situations. But I felt like it was a really good community of people that were very similar. Like most people there are high achievers, because it's a sport that you do where if you're a bit of a bludger, you're not going to last. It's too hard for people that are like that. So I liked that the people that were going there were similar to me, and it made you feel part of like a family that's not your family, which was really nice when I was feeling really insecure and sad outside of it. So it was that feeling a part of something, and then feeling like it was good to be strong. Like as a girl, if you can lift heavy, that's awesome.
My first emotions were, I felt very bad because I couldn't walk or sit for like 2 weeks. So it was.
Look at that. That's good.
Yeah. It was good. It was good, but at the same time, it was very painful.
Very painful.
Just like leading through what you say about the community of CrossFit. It's true. It's a beautiful community and people sharing the same passion and just supporting each other and be always nice and gentle. But at the same times, isn't there a bit too much of gossiping around in the gyms?
Yeah, there can be. And there has been at our gym before. But it depends what sort of, I don't know. The gym at the moment is really good. It's not gossipy, which is nice. But I think any sort of community, like even if it's F45, like any community where there's males and females together and they're catching up throughout the week, I think gossip starts when people are bored.
Yeah.
And I know there's a few gym owners that don't tolerate that, which is really good. But I think it's something you can't really avoid. It's just human nature. People do it when they're bored, and put a group of people together regularly, it's going to happen.
When they start to get close and people are interested with each other's day-to-day lives, it's going to happen for sure. Yeah,
it's kind of something that ruins the atmosphere often, because you just go there to make your work and just be happy with people, and then you heard maybe someone talk to you about that, or just gossiping around. It's always like kind of boomer.
It's not, no. But I think it's up to the gym owner to sort of stand up in a way.
Yeah.
but then everyone is individuals as well.
Yes. So, like from your CrossFit experience and also from the regionals, what were you seeing around, like the other competitors? What did you feel about them? Like, you were threatened or like engaged to do better, and how they were?
All of it. The year that we went to the games, because that's like the highest level I've been. Regionals, I remember when we were in the warm-up area, Russia is in our region, and I couldn't fathom that, but there was Russians, and they were doing the worm, and they were huge. But huge doesn't necessarily mean that you can work well as a team. When our team saw them, we're just like, whoa, they're huge. Like, oh my God, we're going to be so bad. So regionals level, like, it's, you sort of look around, there's all different shapes and sizes. It's just, it's fair.
More regular people.
But I remember when I went to the games, we walked out into the athlete warm-up area, and there was all the top athletes there, like individual athletes as well. And I remember we thought we were huge. We thought like we're really strong, and we thought our boys were huge. And when they walked out on the floor with the other boys, they looked like 12-year-olds. Like, we were tiny. So wow. That was really intimidating, because it was half of our team that were just like tiny. We're like, how can we keep up with these big guys when we're not that size?
Yeah.
So that was scary. That was intimidating, but also really like, for me, it was motivating, because after the games, I went home knowing how much I had to work if I wanted to be at that level. And that everything, like, I remember they had like packed lunches with like specific foods for, they're obviously counting macros, and I didn't do that at the time. And it just made me think that everything counts, like your food, your sleep, your mobility, your warm-up, like, just every single percentage factors into what they are as an athlete. So it's more than just rocking up to the gym and training and then going home, which is sort of what we did.
Yeah.
So did you fangirl when you were there? Like, when you saw did you get to meet or speak to anyone that you really liked or admired?
I'm really,
so
I would never go up to someone and chat, but I fangirled from afar. I remember when we were shopping in Whole Foods to get like our groceries for home, I ran into Brooke Wells. And she full gave me the elevator.
Oh,
like,
really?
Looked me up. Threat.
Nice.
Like, I'm not a threat. But it was cool to see her in person. To like, we're probably similar heights, and like, she's just a really solid girl.
Yeah.
But she looks amazing. And just seeing them not on TV and in real life. I saw also Katrin at the supermarket.
Okay.
And she was very like, on a mission in that supermarket. She knew exactly what she needed to get, very focused. So I wouldn't go up to her because she just looked intimidating, because she was like really focused on her grocery shopping.
She's gonna punch me.
Get in the way of my cream cottage cheese.
Yeah, but for the Australian girls, like, we went over there, I think it was 4 weeks before the games, just to climatize and to train. We trained in LA and Chicago and Madison before the games. And we saw Tia a couple of times, and she's lovely. Like, she came up to us because she heard we were Australian.
Yeah.
So she came and like was stretching with us and asked
really nice.
how we were individually, and she was lovely. So they come up to me. I'll chat all day, but I'm too scared to go up to anybody else.
That's a really good experience.
But it was just cool seeing like all the athletes do their warm ups and how they warm up and it's so different. Like, everyone's really different.
So you would have learnt a lot then.
There, just watching.
That's awesome. And then you mentioned as well, like, you know that your recovery is really important for you, but it's hard for you to find sleep. It's kind of like, when Arnold says just sleep faster to try and fit all the things into your day. So how do you then balance not having sleep with recovering other ways?
I try to, for me, I get by, I think, because my diet's pretty good. Like I eat a lot of food. And I can get away. I think my body functions pretty well off like 6.5 to 7 hours sleep. But as an athlete, you should be getting around 10, like 10 or more, even if you can't buy enough time for that. Like, I don't know who does really, but yeah, with not getting the sleep, just making sure you're on top of your nutrition, and that for me seems to be working.
Yeah.
But one thing I'm not on top of at all is mobility, because I've just got like I've always had tight joints, and that's something that I need to focus on now that we've got the downtime. That's what I really want to do. But I think if you're not getting the sleep, as long as you're really working on your mobility and eating, you can get away with it. But I mean, obviously sleep tops everything. So if I could somehow manage to get 8 hours a night, I think my training would go through the roof.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So in terms of workouts, like there's always something you're gonna hate.
Oh, all right, my phone.
That's okay. It's live. So yeah, what workouts do you hate? Like I love lifting, but I hate cardio, for example.
Okay.
But I will go to a class-based exercise to get that Metcon stuff in, but I still hate it. Like I hate running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do I enjoy? What do I hate?
Yeah. What do you find difficult to do?
Difficult gymnastics because of my mobility.
Yeah, right.
So I can do it, but that's my gap that I've got. So that's what I really want to work on this year, because I was meant to have Wollongong now, and that's been postponed till next year. So I've got a year to like get my shit together.
Oh, so that's your next competition.
Well, that's my next definite competition, but I've got another one in Indonesia in November, but I'm not sure about our travel, like travel bans, and I've heard bits and pieces, but definitely Wollongong, that'll be a big one. So I need to work on my gymnastics. I'm just really rigid. So I actually just started seeing a physio yesterday who was really, really good and explained why I am and what I need to do and what will happen if I do it, and he made me really excited and motivated.
Oh, good.
So I really
That's nice.
do his rehab and just focus on that. Not so much, I don't think I have to worry about losing strength or anything like that, because I've been naturally really strong forever. But that's one thing I do love is doing sort of like brute strength lifting. So I don't like technical stuff. I don't like snatches. Clean and jerks are okay, but I love squatting, I love deadlifting, I love bench, I love strongman, and then I love endurance.
Yeah, right.
So it's like polar opposites. But anything where you have to start and stop, I just die.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard for me.
Sandro loves gymnastics. He's been really good at it.
Yeah.
Do you have a background in gymnastics?
No, not really. I start CrossFit like 2.5 years ago, out of nothing, like out of the blue, and from just playing PlayStation and video games all day long to just
being a smoker as well.
And being a smoker as well.
Oh, yeah.
And also working as a chef in an Italian restaurant, so it's even more
all pizzas
more,
and pastas.
More harder.
Yeah.
And I just started out of nothing and just built step by step, and I actually now I'm not doing anymore, like from last November, but I was like, without being humble, pretty good, because I start from like 0 kilo to snatch, and I closed after 2 years with 85. Like,
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's not
technique even better.
Yeah, it's not. It was good. It was very nice. But then, I had an injury on my disc on my back. So disc compression, protrusion, and so I had to stop.
Yeah.
That was.
But can you do anything? Like, can you do movements that will avoid triggering that? Or
it's very hard. Like, you could, but it's very hard because everything that compress the spine, you can't do it.
Yeah.
So like weightlifting or running or even jumping. So it's basically everything.
What about gymnastics though? You could probably do that.
Yeah, you can. You can. Like I can.
Elite gymnast.
Yeah.
Like just before COVID started, we were at the gym.
Yeah.
And he did his first muscle up on a bar
After months, yeah.
Yeah, after like having his back injury. So it's like, oh, maybe if we can just find a competition that's just pure gymnastics, he could just do that.
Yeah, or just make gymnastics goals. Like that's fun. It's so good for your body.
Yeah.
Have you seen male gymnasts' bodies?
Yes. Yeah, of course. I went to, is it Emmaus College, which is not Emmaus, Wesley College on St Kilda Road. They have adult gymnastics. So I went there for one of their courses, and all the coaches, all the male ones, like after the class, they take off their tops and they start doing their tricks, and I'm like, oh my God, why can't I just look like that?
Yeah, I've heard about that class.
Yeah.
I was going to
Yeah, it's got a good rap. Yeah, and the girls are good too, but same, like they're just as elite as the guys, but somehow the guys can just look so ripped and the girls are just still like normal.
But the girls are like more petite.
Yeah, true.
But quite big shoulders, like
that's right.
A lot of upper body work.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, so in talking about body, like I don't look like you. I wish I looked like you, like big and ripped. I always say that. I always say to, like when I go to the gym, they're like, what are you working on? I'm like, I just want to get huge and ripped. And everyone's like, why don't you want to get like small? And I'm like, what's wrong with you? But then like I do look different compared to the average person. And like even at work, people I don't know will come up to me and talk to me in the hallway about like their exercise that they just started, and I'm like, I don't even know your name. Like it's like I look different enough for them to approach me. I've got people that have followed me into the kitchen and been like, oh, how did you get calves like that, or what do you do? And I'm like, I don't even know you. Like you followed me into the kitchen at work, like sort of thing. And I've even had like a doctor ask me if I was on drugs, if I was taking hormones. So with you looking even more beyond average, do you face these things like with strangers?
Yes. All the time. It started like when I first started weightlifting. I used to get that because before I was doing coaching, I worked in real estate, and that was when I was doing the bodybuilding. I used to get that a lot from people. Like if I was taking them through properties, they'd be like, oh, so I go to the gym but I'm doing this, do you think that? So that I get that starts early. But now it's sort of at the point where it's like a blessing and a curse, because when I'm around fit people, I'm so happy and I love it, but then put me in a situation where I walk into a shopping centre and I've taught myself to just switch off, because people stare. People stare at you like you're a freak. And I speak to my girlfriends about this all the time, like other CrossFitters, and we're all the same. Like if you've got traps and shoulders, people assume that you're on steroids. Even people from like my own gym are like, oh, you got to be on something to get like that, but they don't realize the intensity that we train, how much we have to eat to get there and to fuel it. And CrossFit's all shrugging, like everything is shrugging, everything is shoulders, like you work it every single day. There's no day off unless you have, like I have one day off a week, like today. But yeah, having that physique, people just automatically assume. I've even had going to the doctors to get checkups, they ask me straight out, are you on steroids? And I'm like, no, I'm not. And then probably 3 times, just because you're bigger than the average human, they assume that you must be on something. But if I could take people through like a week in what I do, they would understand how hard it is. And if I go on a holiday, like I remember once I went to, I think it was Thailand for like a week, and I couldn't train the way that I wanted to. I could do a little bit of like running here and there, but I came back and I was completely deflated. Like to stay this big, you've got to train all the time, and your blood's pumped to your muscles, so you are big. But then if I take a couple of days off and I haven't trained, I look a lot smaller. So it's a good thing. Like I love
smaller
being strong
to you though, but still big to other people.
But I would say I'm like average for a CrossFitter, like that competes at my level. Like I fit right in. There's some bigger girls, there's some smaller girls. But the annoying thing is wearing normal people clothes Nothing fits your shoulders, which is really, really sad, and your lats. So trying to like zip up a dress or something is, yeah.
Sorry, Tara, we've just had a bit of a technical issue. Just bear with us. We've lost. We can't hear you. Just bear with us a second. We'll try and get it back on.
Okay, should be okay.
Yes, we can hear you now. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Oh
no.
Woohoo! Yes. Cool. Yeah. Sorry about that. So, what was the last thing that you just said?
My dog's snoring. So.
Oh, your dog. Can we see your dog?
Where did it cut out? Oh yeah.
Oh, very cute. And what's your dog's name?
Just Peaches, like the fruit.
Oh, cute. And I'm assuming Peaches is
me?
a gym dog.
Yes. Oh, now it's good. Because we had some some delay with the voice and the video.
And then it disappeared. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was very interested about your projects outside of your trainings. Like, what do you do? Like, you coach, or you have any other side activities?
You've got We Athena.
Yeah.
You work for Strictly You. You manage the gym as well.
Yeah. So I work for Strictly You, which is Sonia Kruger.
Yeah.
She's got it's more for middle-aged women, but she's got a fitness app and diet plan, and I do the admin for that. So I do that. I manage CrossFit Moorabbin. I coach at CrossFit Moorabbin. I have an online client base. I have my business, which I train one, and then I'm starting. We Athena is sort of a work in progress at the moment. I'm just trying to figure out the best way that it's going to run, but it's a women's, because in Melbourne, I don't know about other countries, but for women's training, we've only really got Fernwood Fitness, and then we've got Curves, but the weights only go up to 20 kilos. Like it's nothing. It's not going to make women stronger. So We Athena is a program that's based on lifting, running, and boxing. So the lifts there, we're building up deadlifts, bench press, and squat. So doing all accessories to build that and make them stronger in those lifts. The running is short sprint, so it's just explosive power. And the boxing is learning how to box properly. So it gives them the confidence to sort of look after themselves. If anything happens, they know how to defend themselves. And then I'm going to also introduce flow to have some yoga in there just to balance everything out, because it's quite lifting heavy, sprinting and boxing is quite aggressive. So we need something to bring them back down. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. Just starting from home, training girls from home, and then eventually maybe one day I'll be able to open up some sort of studio or gym to do that.
So the We Athena is a remote training program for females.
Well, it's one-on-one because a little bit scared to PB their lifts alone in case they fail, like bench press and all that sort of stuff. So it is that, but then for athletes that are already quite they know what they're doing, it will be available online as well.
Okay, so you do that out of Moorabbin, your gym at Moorabbin, is that right?
Well, I am doing it from home at the moment because we can't go into the, but it'll be mixed between home and the gym, but there's a little bit going into not just Moorabbin but a CrossFit gym in general. It's a bit intimidating for some girls, so doing it from home works really well because it's private. So that's what I'm working on at the moment.
That's why you can get 10 hours of sleep. That's the main reason.
That's why you can't get 10 hours because you're working from your own home. So you've got a gym set up at your home. Yeah, true. And then
it'll be much easier.
Yeah, for sure. That does sound like a lot, because how many clients do you have online then? Because that's a lot to manage on top of that as well.
Like I don't have too many. I've got, I think at the moment, 16 online that I coach. Okay. So yeah, it's manageable. It's manageable, but the good thing with that is, like with my online clients and doing the admin, that's when I get to travel. I can still work, which is really nice. So yeah, the online base is what I'll try build as well. Just so, or if we are allowed to travel. I don't know. I just heard 2023 might be the year we can travel overseas next. So
yeah, that's a bit pretty depressing.
Traveling
to New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand. Yeah. So I do a little bit of everything, and it's for me, it's my partner tells me I need to slow down because I'm just like here, there, and everywhere. And training, my 3 hours I get a day is the time when I switch off, and that's just me time sort of thing.
Well, that's good you consider
the rest is like hectic.
What time of the day do you train? Because obviously, even though you prioritize it, you still need to fit it around when the classes are, and you know, when people actually really want you face to face. So what's your training time?
Usually I start about 10:30 in the morning. So I do all my clients in the morning, train from 10:30, and then do admin after that, and then I go back into training clients again in the afternoon to night.
Yeah.
So 10:30 is not too early, so you feel like you've had some food, you've had coffee, you're awake. Whereas any earlier, it's just like, you know, when you wake up and your body's a bit stiff, you're not quite ready to do CrossFit yet. And then if it's later in the afternoon, you're a bit exhausted from the day. So that time of the day works really well for me.
Yeah, right. And did you meet Sonia Kruger? Have you met her?
No, I've only spoken to her manager.
Yeah, right. No, and then you just... Yeah, because she's quite impressive as an older woman. She looks amazing.
Yeah. She's definitely someone to look up to for a lot of people, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool that you got that. So in terms of your routine is training, you told us that you train 6 times a week for 3 hours a day from 10:30. How do you manage your diet? Did you hire that out to a dietitian, or how does that work for you?
I've had quite a lot of people help me in the past with like different bits and pieces. I've learnt a lot. But in relation to like diet plans, I've had offers for someone to write me a plan, but if it's written like that, I feel like I won't stick to it. So I count my macros. So not all year round. Like at the moment, I know what I need to eat to get by, but leading up to competitions, like maybe 3 months out from competing at a big comp, I'll be like right on with my macros. Just so I make sure I'm getting enough of everything, because I find I don't usually eat enough protein. And my carb intake, my body responds really well with carbohydrates. So I need to eat a lot of carbs.
Yeah, right.
So getting those in is actually really hard.
Or you could just visit Sandra's restaurant.
I know.
I just make pasta and pizza.
I don't eat carbs.
Yeah, exactly.
I avoid gluten.
Yeah,
so unless you got gluten free.
Of course.
Yeah, he makes gluten-free gnocchi.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Which kind of carbs do you eat? Like
what carbs do you eat?
Yeah, what carbs?
Rice.
Yeah.
Lots of rice. I have gluten-free bread for toast, like toast in the morning. Lots of bananas and berries. Snacking on like rice cakes, oats.
Okay.
I have a massive bowl of oats. I have one bowl of oats. What else? Like if I'm like behind, I need to catch up. I have rice bubbles or Cocoa Pops, because they got a lot of carbs in them.
Right, interesting.
It's fun. It's fun for me.
Okay.
But
I have like a specific question. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Yeah.
Go for it.
No, go for it.
Oh, okay. Sorry, jumping from another argument. It's my curiosity to know when you work out and you reach like the point where you feel very tired, and but you know you still have to going on. Like, what do you do? Because for me, for example, I was staring at one point, like just staring at one point on the floor and just concentrating on that point and don't think. What do you do to overcome that?
So we've got a lot of training to do, but you're really tired.
Yeah, well, like
you have to get to the end of the
when you have to get to the end, like there's something that you think of, or some way to manage.
What pushes you through when it's hard? Yes.
I usually I just think 1 rep at a time, because if you think, just say if you've got something and there's heaps of reps, and if you think how many you've got to go, it messes with your head. So it's either 1 rep at a time, or I'll just completely switch off and just listen to the music, focus on that, or until the song changes. But most of the time I find myself just saying just 1 rep, just pick it up. Don't ever think so far ahead to how much you've got to go, because you'll psych yourself out and you'll just want to stop. It's not fun anymore. So you just got to bring yourself back to what you're doing right now, and that helps me.
Okay, I was doing the opposite. I was thinking for headline of the day after, not even of the workout.
149 reps.
Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Yes.
I also think about like what I'm gonna eat after training and how excited I am.
That's a good reward.
That get through it.
That's a good
or like treat yourself to a max, something, I don't know. Little baby goals.
How's it been for you during COVID and all these changes? Like I've seen your stories, and it looks like you're still able to go into the gym, but it's obviously a big difference now. Yeah. Like you said, your comps have now all sort of pretty much been cancelled. You got nothing to work towards, kind of. Yeah.
It's been hard. Like I don't want to like complain, because there's so many people in worse positions, but for me as an athlete, I'm up and down. Like I have good days and I have bad days. I'm just taking 1 day at a time, and lucky for me, because I manage the gym, I can go in and train. I can't train people. I can go in and do like rig work and stuff, which I didn't have at home. But to keep the motivation there, like when I don't know when my next comp is, it's hard, because I'm sort of at a point where I could taper back and just focus on, I've got a bit of a bung shoulder at the moment, bad shoulder, and I've had an issue with my right hip since day 1. And like the physio said yesterday, he's like, just take 2 weeks off pressing overhead and work on all these like exercises he's giving me, and just really sort of nourish your body and look after it and sort of build your way up from there. So I'm sort of thinking that, because you'll come off better on the other side. But to stay motivated to push yourself to the limit every day right now, when you don't know really what you're training for, it's really hard. Some days I have the energy, I'm just like, I'll go. Other days I'll taper back and I'll be like, I'm just going to cruise it, and not, like, I haven't redlined in a while, because at the moment I don't see the point in pushing that hard when you don't really know what you're aiming for right now. So it's more about just moving and keeping my fitness and keeping my strength without blowing myself out. And then as things change, like my plans will change as well.
Yeah, it is tough. Like I really I love going to the gym, and I was trying to train at home and then injured my calf by training with no shoes on at home. And then it's just like, I just wish I could go to the gym. But then you also think, with COVID, you can't trust anyone at the gym either. Like it's gross. So I probably wouldn't go for another month or 2 as well. So it is a tough situation to be in. Sandro was lucky enough that his hairdresser gave him some weights to use at home. But now his back's like spasmed up the last week. So it's like all these things that stop you. And you're like, the one thing that can really keep you going during this lockdown period, which is exercise, it's sort of like a limitation in itself as well.
So you can, and the fact that you guys can, like, you both like to train and you can sort of do it together is good too. I just feel for those people that are living alone and, they don't have people to keep them motivated. That's hard. But I mean, there's always something you can do. I think it's important for everyone to keep moving in some way, even if it's a walk. Because it'll be all doing it every day. That's what. And yes, it's hard for everybody in their own ways, but it's just important to keep moving in some even it's yoga or stretching, like doing something.
Yes. Yes, correct.
I should do more often.
So we've taken a lot of your time today, which we really appreciate. Could ask you and talk to you for so much more longer. But if we're just going to leave it now, and if you could leave us with something to tell the listeners and the viewers, because this will go onto YouTube afterwards as well, what you suggest to motivate people to be able to at least get into a routine of exercise. What's your suggestion for that? Or even to work towards a competition one day. Yeah, in general. And then if you do want to work towards a competition one day, if you are exercising.
Yeah, I think it's important for people to, like, you've got to have goals. If you don't have goals, like, what are you working towards? It's hard to stay motivated if there's not, like, something at the end. People might disagree with that, but for me, I've always got to have a goal. And that could be a competition, that could be to feel really good at someone's wedding that's coming up and you just want to look good and feel good. And then you've got to write down what you're doing that's stopping you from achieving that right now. Figure out what you need to cut out, and then also what you need to do to achieve it. Writing a list of goals and mapping out how to get there is, like, I find that's the best way to do it. Writing it down on paper. If you write it down, you do it. I put notes in my phone a lot, but that doesn't work. Like, you've got to physically write it and stick it up somewhere, and just always have goals. Like, if you get to that comp, you'll learn something about yourself at the comp that you could do better, or that you could change something. Like, maybe you did it with a partner and you don't communicate well. That's something you can work on. So when you go to that comp, figure out what you did well, figure out what you didn't do well, and work on it from there. If you get to the wedding and then you're like, yeah, I got to my body shape that I wanted to be, but you shouldn't stop there, because that's when people tend to just blow out after big events like that. But then figure out, like, how you feel, how you got there. Was it that hard? What else can you do? Where can you go from there? And just keep setting goals, and that's where you just end up turning into a person that's like a goal digger. I call myself a goal digger, because I'm constantly making new goals, and you'll achieve them if you map it out how you're going to get there. But if you're not prepared to sit there and write it down and figure out what you want, you're never going to get anywhere.
True. Yeah, and I guess
that's my bit of advice.
Yeah, your advice, like, that, you're right, it does spread to people in general, and also if you're wanting to get to an elite level as well. We do have one person, I think, who knows you, but they've named themselves Chicken McFuggets on the chat, and they said, do you know who that is?
Yeah, well, I don't know personally, but yeah, I know who it is.
Okay, cool. Yeah, they said our Tara is a natural resource, so that's nice.
We also want to thank you, Aliu.
Tara is a what?
Is a natural resource.
Yeah, natural resource. Well, we also, before calls, thank you, Aliu197 to the follow, and Novagood05 for the host.
So thanks so much, Tara. Yes. We would love to train with you. So if you do come down to CrossFit Balaclava, we'll be your training partner for sure. Reach out to us.
Yeah, well, when we can, when the gyms open up again, I'll pop down there and do some sessions. So I'm sure I'll run into the two of you.
Yeah, well, we don't go there now. Like,
no, we don't.
Since Sandro hurt his back, he hasn't been going, and I just go to a normal gym.
Sandro should come back and do some gymnastics.
Yes. But we're also happy to train with you in Moorabbin as well. We'll be happy to go out to train with you. Yeah,
welcome to come down anytime.
Yes.
But with your back issue, your goal should be look up on. There's some really good people on Instagram that are gymnasts, and they do gymnastics programming. Do that.
Yeah,
that's a good fitness goal.
That's good.
At least then look at it and you've got something to do. That'll keep you motivated.
Yeah, because gym is very boring.
Yeah, he hates it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to mix it up, but there's nothing like being, around other people, doing fun, different things. Because bodybuilding's good, but it's a bit mundane.
Yeah. So very thank you, as we say to all of our guests. Thanks a lot for coming, especially because you dedicate us 1 hour or more of your time. So that's very, very important and very, very nice.
And hope to catch you soon.
Yes.
Definitely.
Thank you very much, Tara.
Bye.
Have a lovely weekend.
Bye. You too.
Thanks.
Yeah.